Hello and welcome to the book club with Nik. Today we are talking about chapter 8 of A New Earth with Eckhart Tolle by Eckhart Tolle. So while everybody joins, I'm going to make some announcements and then I'm going to read some quotes and then we're going to talk about it. It's going to be I'm going to keep it to 30 minutes today because of scheduling. So I just want to announce that I am making donations to the following organizations: Feeding America, Toys for Tots, and Help a Diabetic Child. All the links for these organizations are below. I grew up very poor and destitute and depended on quote unquote welfare Christmases as a child. So these are important to me. And especially with what's going on in our country now with the SNAP benefits being removed. And that's a whole other story. And also I have a son who's a type 1 diabetic. And I know something that most people don't know is that there are millions of people who are underserved with their medication and insurance benefits. And that includes diabetics, and type 1 diabetes is a disease that people get that they didn't do anything to get, they just got it. And if they didn't cause it, they didn't catch it, it just became part of who they were. And type 1 diabetics are insulin dependent for life. And so many people are short on insulin supplies and insulin, and their life literally depends on it. And it's especially horrifying for children who don't have the supplies they need. So please, if you can, make a donation to any of those organizations. The links are below, or you can click the QR code in the corner of the screen and send a Venmo or PayPal payment directly to me, or buy a gift card on my website if you feel safer doing that. And I will donate that money. Just put a comment when you purchase the gift card if you choose to do that. So these are all causes that are close to my heart. And if you can give a dollar, give a dollar. If you can give $1 million, give $1 million directly to the organization or through me if that's easier for you. And I have already collected a couple of $100s, and I will continue to do so. And I will screenshot and send, I'll post videos or posts on my social media when I send the money. Probably right before Thanksgiving, I'll send the money. So thank you for being here. Make sure you click the bell under my videos to get notified. Hi, Gina. How are you? I'm glad you're here, honey. Click the bell under my videos to get notified of all my new uploads and when I'm going to go live. The best way to support all of your favorite creators is to subscribe, which is free, like, share, and comment. Commenting and liking and subscribing on your favorite creators' content is the best way you can help them, because it pushes them out into the algorithm and it tells YouTube that you're watching their content. I have $11 3-card email tarot readings, links below, and all of my spiritual guidance and mediumship readings are buy one, get one free. Those are the Zoom one-on-one readings, not the email tarot card readings. Hi, Lori. So please, I forgot about the Zoom. Okay, Debbie's not here yet. Okay, so please, if you can, sorry, I got distracted with too many things at once. If you want to purchase a reading before 11:30, they're all buy one, get one free. And you will get to schedule the second one. You can gift the second one to a loved one as well. My books, my Beginner's Mediumship Workbook and How to Become Your Own Medium workbook are linked below. You can get the digital copy or the Amazon paperback. All right, here we go. Hi, Holly. Hi, Lori. Hi, Gina. Chapter 8, A New Earth. My trusty old copy. I wouldn't trade this copy for anything. There's a lot of energy and memories in this book. All right, the discovery of inner space. Okay, so I'm just going to read a little. Please, if you read the chapter, let me know your comments, your quotes, your favorite parts. I'm going to read off of page 225. When you are detached, you gain a higher vantage point from which to view the events in your life instead of being trapped inside them. And you know, it's fascinating. I've been talking about this. I've been getting this. I haven't read this book in a while. Probably a couple years I haven't read it. I've been talking a lot about zooming out. My guides. Hi, Viv. Hi, Gary for Grace. Hi. I've been talking a lot about zooming out and watching things in your life from a different perspective, a bigger picture. And that's exactly what this says, page 225. When you are detached, you gain a higher vantage point from which to view the events in your life instead of being trapped inside them. And we are so trapped in our lives and in the reality of this human experience, but we don't have to be. We can completely zoom out and detach completely. It's just a shift of perspective. Gina said, I was annoyed a little bit about what he said about ADD. I'm sensitive about it because I'm a late diagnosis ADHD. Can you tell me what page that's on? If you remember? And I'll read it and try to explain it, because trust me, there's nothing in this book that I think he means to be offensive. It just may be a trigger for you, something you're sensitive about. So let me know what page it's on. Okay, next he says, you become like an astronaut who sees the planet Earth surrounded by the vastness of space and realizes a paradoxical truth. The Earth is precious and at the same time insignificant. And let me tell you, I was already an astronomy expert at the time when I read this, and there is so much truth in that statement. We here on Earth, and do me a favor after this live stream and before my next one at 7:45, look up Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot. You can read the text of it, or there's a million videos of it. And he talks about, okay, there's this photograph of Earth from Saturn or Jupiter, one of the gas giants, which is very close astronomically to us, but hundreds of millions of miles away. And the Earth is a dot in this photograph. And he talks about how everyone you've ever known, everyone you've ever loved, every leader, every prince, every king, every beggar, every servant, every war, every peace, everything happened on that pale blue dot. It's beautiful. And it just shows that, yeah, we're precious, but we are insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Our universe is so, so big, and our planet is so small, and we get so focused in on little tiny things when we zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Lori said page 231, TV manipulation by politicians, special interest groups, advertisers, etc., the state of awareness. Yes, yes, yes. Hi, Debbie. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so yes, yes to all of that. Viv said, when I zoom out far enough, I realize everything is temporary. Yes. All of my concerns are temporary. Enjoy and be grateful of my blessings, because those can be temporary also. Right, exactly. Like, I have this wonderful life right now. I still teach about science, and I teach about mediumship, and I work from home, and I pretty much make my own schedule for the most part. Occasionally, I have certain times I have to do things, but I know it could disappear in a flash. It could disappear in a flash. I am very aware that I'm not worried that it's going to disappear in a flash because worry is manifesting negativity. I am aware, I have an awareness, but I'm not focused on that negative thing. I am focused on continuing the path I'm on with my mediumship journey, with my spiritual business, with all of those things. That's what I'm focused on, but I am aware. So that's a great point. All right. So the earth is precious and at the same time insignificant. Love that. When you are this is page 226. When you are no longer totally identified with forms, consciousness, who you are, becomes freed from its imprisonment in form. So we so much in our modern world identify with what do we look like? What kind of car do we have? What kind of house do we have? Did she get her nails done? Did she get her hair done? Is he muscular? Does he have a nice car? Does he have a good job? Did she have plastic surgery? Is that butt real? Did she get new boobs? Like, we're so obsessed. When I go on, I have an old Yahoo email account. It's essentially just for all my spam. And when I go on Yahoo newsfeed to check my email, because you have to go there to check it on your laptop, it's just so-and-so looks so great. So-and-so looked so bad. So-and-so had this thing. And it's just all so superficial and horrible. And that's just the state of our world right now. But we don't have to stay in that. It says, above all, there is space between your thoughts. And from that space emanates a peace that is not of this world, because this world is form, meaning the physical world we're in. And the peace is space. This is the peace of God. So when we find those, I've quoted this book many times. They say, create gaps between your thoughts. Create gaps between your thoughts. That's what I mean. The space between the constant train of thoughts that goes through our mind, that's where you find, if you believe in God, God. That's where you find peace. That's where you find heaven, if you believe in heaven. That's where you find your connection to, in my opinion, the collective consciousness. That's why when I teach my mediumship classes, one of the first things I talk about is you have to meditate. You have to clear your mind. You cannot do mediumship or any other spiritual practice well if you have a crowded mind. You have to clear that space. So our inner space should be a place of awareness, not worry, not crowded, not thinking about all this three-dimensional crap. Gina said page 232 at the bottom. Is it before the frequent and prolonged TV watching? Avoid watching programs and commercials that assault you with a rapid succession of images that change every 2 or 3 seconds or less. And there is a show that does that right now for kids. Excessive TV watching and those programs in particular are largely responsible for attention deficit disorder, a mental dysfunction now affecting millions of children worldwide. And it's worse now. A short attention span makes all of your perceptions and relationships shallow and unsatisfying. Whatever you do, whatever action you perform in that state lacks quality because quality requires attention. Okay, so I just want to speak to this. Hi, Glenda. I'm glad you're here. I just want to speak to this. He is not putting the blame on you personally or any person with ADHD or ADD. My son has ADD, my diabetic son, and he's dyslexic. I call him my diabetic dyslexic. with ADD. So my son came out that way. He was born blabbing and not being able to focus. He came out that way. This is talking about iPad parents who put their kid in front of I see it when I go to Disney World because I live by Disney World. So I go down there a couple times a month. That's it. You see these babies in strollers, and because they're whining, the parent gives them a phone to watch a cartoon on. And it's like, maybe not the healthiest thing for the kid's brain. This is talking about acquiring ADD or ADHD by putting those images in front of children when you could just be paying a little better attention to them. It's not talking about people who are born with ADHD at all. What he's saying is when you're a child, you can't help what your parents are doing, right? They're doing what they're doing. But as you become an adult, don't sit and watch, programs like that all the time, because it can cause you to have a short attention span and it can cause you to not have depth in your relationships. That's what he's saying. He's not blaming anyone at all. He's not saying people who are born with ADHD or ADD, that it's their fault. He's just saying, don't make it worse if you are an adult caring for a child, or if you're an adult and you're just disassociating from reality. I hope that made sense. Vivian said, I recently was able to create gaps in my mind. When I look out my window, I hear birds. Oh, the birds are my favorite. I see all the butterflies, crows. I love a crow. And hummingbirds and dragonflies. Yes, yes, yes. The world is still a very beautiful place. Okay, Gina, good. The world, there are so many beautiful places in the world. So many beautiful places in the world. We have a lot to be grateful for on Earth. Sorry, my allergies are acting up. We have a lot to be grateful for in this world as far as the beauty of nature. Now, I lived in cities most of my life, so I understand how hard it can be to be in contact with nature if you live in a city. But most cities have green spaces where you can go walk to a park. It's fall in most places now. Reasonable weather in most places. Go to a park and just sit there. You don't have to do anything spectacular. Just sit under a tree. If you have a tree in your yard, just go sit under it. If you have grass to go sit on, if it's clean grass, right? You don't want to sit on dog park grass. Go sit in the most natural place you can find. If you can do it for 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, that's amazing. It'll change your life. If you can't do that every day, every week for 10 to 30 minutes, try to make it a priority to go to a green space and just be in the space. Sit under a tree, touch the grass, touch the plants, commune with nature. Some people enjoy going to the beach. Go to the beach. Anything in nature, if you can get to it, do it as much as you can. It will change your world. Okay, so next he talks about freedom from form identity, where Eckhart Tolle explains that true peace arises when we stop identifying solely with form, our bodies, possessions, or roles, and recognize ourselves as formless awareness. What does that mean? It means, even though I was a teacher for 20 years, that is not who I am. Even though I am a medium, that is not who I am. That is something I do. That is a gift I have, that everybody has actually, but is not who I am. And the reason he talks about this is because people It happens to famous people. That's the easiest example. They become so identified with their fame, their fortune, their fancy cars and houses, their beauty, their acting job or singing job or sports job. They become so identified with it. If something happens and it goes away, they have a breakdown. And that's because they identified so much with it. And it can happen to everyday people who aren't famous. I know a lady who had a bunch of kids back to back to back, and her whole identity was being a mother. And now her youngest is a teenager, and her whole family's falling apart because she has lost her identity because most of her kids are grown and either out of the house or moving out of the house or close to moving out of the house. And now she's changed very dramatically because she identified with motherhood to such a degree that now she feels completely lost, and she's making poor choices, poor life choices, we'll say. So it's not just famous people, it's anybody can identify with anything. The ego and mental noise is the next point. The ego thrives on mental noise and constant thought activity. Discovering inner space quiets this chatter and allows clarity and presence to emerge. I cannot tell you how important this is and how common this is. I was talking to one of my mentees earlier, and she said, I'm a workaholic. And I said, I am too. I definitely am a workaholic. And especially now, since my kids are grown, I work a lot, but I also create space for not working. I create time for not working. When I work, and I work hard, and I work for many, many hours, and I do a lot. I have an ADHD brain too. Not diagnosed, but I know for sure it's in there. I feel like I can do the job of 10 people at a time. That's just, the feeling I get. But I know enough to stop and pause and do something else, to take care of myself. I make sure to rest when I need to rest. I make sure to have fun when I need to have fun. I make sure to, I do artwork. I did some artwork today for my granddaughters. And so I make sure to have a balance that comes with, experience and wearing yourself out. Lori said, be still, look, listen, and be present, page 236. It makes me so happy that you guys are following along on this journey. Also on page 236, this is probably the same place. Here is another way of finding inner space. Become conscious of being conscious. Say or think, I am, and add nothing to it. Be aware of the stillness that follows the I am. Sense your presence, the naked, unveiled, unclothed beingness. Just be, just be. It is untouched by young or old, rich or poor, good or bad, or any other attributes. It is the spacious womb of all creation, all form. And that's right after the quote you gave me, Lori. You said, Lori, be still, look, listen, be present. We don't do that enough. That's why our society is seemingly going crazy, because everybody's fighting and angry and scared and insane, and everything's very dramatic. And all those things are happening. Those are true. Our country's in chaos. and there's suffering around the world. That's all true. But when we get drawn into the form of it, we get drawn into the mental noise, it doesn't do anyone any good. It doesn't do anyone any good. We need the power of pause. Pause, zoom out, listen with presence. The pause emphasizes how sacred it is to open the doorway to consciousness. You cannot open the doorway to consciousness without pausing. You must listen with presence. That means when you listen to something someone's saying, don't judge, don't have mental commentary. This is hard. This is hard to do, especially in close relationships. But it's so important to listen with presence. Don't judge. Don't make comments in your head. Don't be ready to reply without, just listen without judgment or making a list in your head of what you're going to say next. This is hard to do, very hard to do. This creates a field of awareness where you can get to a point of authentic communication and an understanding between people. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay. Next, we have silence as presence. Again, we want to have silence. We want to be able to be still without doing. I know so many people who do and go and do and go and do. But we must make time to be still. Just force, you have to sometimes, because I try to take a nap in the afternoon before I do my readings, because I have morning meetings and I have afternoon readings and other meetings, just depends on the day. And I like to go take a nap. But sometimes I can't fall asleep. And so I just lay there and I just force myself to lay there for 30 minutes. I don't look at my phone, which is very hard because I'm always checking my email. I force myself to be still. We must do it. We must be still and silent. And when the train of thought starts going, I'll say my times tables, or I know this is going to sound crazy, but I go through the prime numbers in my head up until I get past 100 sometimes, because I'm a nerd and I love math and science. So I will just say the prime numbers in my head, or I'll say times tables, because it stops maybe that's not the perfect answer, but it stops the train of negative thoughts in my head. Okay, so I have to hop off here in a minute, because I'm going to go live at 7:45 Eastern and talk about mediumship. So I will be back in 15 minutes to talk about mediumship. Lori said, so difficult. Any thoughts that can help you be more present? Okay, so like I said, me with the times tables, in the prime numbers, anything like that, that you can do when you're just quieting your mind. Yes. Oh, meditation. That's the whole point. Yes. Meditation. That's the goal, right? We want to meditate. But meditation doesn't have to be sitting in the lotus position for an hour or hours on end, having a perfectly clear mind. That is not what meditation is for regular everyday people. Meditation can be as simple as when you're washing your hands, all you do is say, I'm washing my hands. I'm washing my hands. I'm washing my hands for 30 seconds. If you have to pee, sit on the toilet. I'm going pee. I'm going pee. I'm going pee. If you're folding the laundry, I'm folding the laundry. Whatever you're doing, in the moment, state what you're doing. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm washing my hair. I'm washing my hair. Whatever you're doing, you can state that in your head, because the point of the meditation is to get rid of all those thoughts in your head that are, you wake up and everything's like, oh my God, I got to get up. I got to go to work. I have to answer the email. I have to get gas in the car. I have to get the kids to school, blah, 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 blah. You'll get it all done. Yeah. Breathing. Yes. Breathing is very important. Sometimes we forget to breathe, and it's really, really important. You can count your breaths, 3 deep breaths, 1, 2, 3. That's a meditation. 3 deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. That's a meditation. I'm a very impatient person, and there have been many times where I'm in line at the grocery store and somebody's writing a check. To this day, people write checks. I don't even own checks. I can't tell you the last time I wrote a check. Now, that's no judgment, but in my mind, I'm judging them because I'm like, what the hell are you doing writing a check? Don't you have a debit card? Just click it, right? Oh, hi, Aunt Jen. Yay, I'm so glad you're here. Don't forget to go back and watch my video with Aunt Jen from Wednesday. We talked about marriage and relationships. It was a great conversation. We will be back this Wednesday talking about, I can't remember what the subject is, but it'll be fascinating. Breathing is important. So I'm going to log off. I will be back at 7:45 Eastern, 4:45 Pacific. We're going to talk about mediumship, and I will be back. Thank you, guys. Next week is chapter 9 already, and after that, we are going to read. We should have started with this, but that's okay. The 4 agreements. That after we finish chapter 10, so we got chapter 9 and 10, and then we're going to start the 4 agreements. So if you want to know what book, and get it from wherever you get your books from, next week. Remember, all the donation links are in the show notes. Toys for Tots, Feeding America, Help a Diabetic Child. You can donate directly to them or click my Linktree QR code, send me PayPal or Venmo, or buy a gift card on my website, whatever you're comfortable with. And I will be donating to those 3 causes. So I will see you guys in 12 minutes to talk about mediumship. See you guys in a little bit. Bye.